Today in this video, we're going to be talking about how to stop fearing weight gain. So if you've watched my previous videos, you probably know by now that I keep on saying that binge eating is not a problem, it's a symptom. And it's a symptom that your body is feeling deprived, you're under eating calories, you're having inconsistent meal patterns, you're putting all the perfect conditions for your body to binge eat. You're giving all the reasons to binge eat. Because your body thinks, okay, there's a famine going on, we don't know when food is going to come in again, so let's ramp up all those hunger hormones. So if you're not aware of that already, then I highly recommend you check this video out to find out the root cause of binge eating, and I can explain it much more in depth. But in this video, let's say you understood that you need to eat regular meals, putting diets on hold. But the main thing, one of the most common questions I get is, how do I stop the fear of weight gain? How do I stop the fear of food? Which I'm going to be explaining in this video. And it's one of the biggest problems I struggled with when I was trying to overcome binge eating, which I'm now binge free. And I'm going to show you how I overcame binge eating. And I'm going to talk about the science of how we can overcome the fear of weight gain. So first of all, I think it's extremely important to first understand where fear comes from. How did we start fearing things? What's the science of fear in the first place? And then we'll go through the solution. There are two factors which can promote the fear of weight gain and where it came from. So there's this thing called implicit bias, where it's not really our fault, it just happened upon us. So the two places, number one is maybe when you're younger, when you're a kid, or even when you're a baby, you're experiencing the whole world, you're observing almost everything, and then you come across your mum, and then you see, because if you're a baby, you can't speak obviously, but you can read people's emotions, and you could try to make little associations. But when you're young, let's say your mom walks onto a scale and you see a sad face, looks down, and then whenever she looks at the number in the scale, or whenever she steps on a scale, she feels really sad. And you start to associate that with, okay, something to do with the scale and weight. Maybe she eats something, you see your mom binge eating or eating a large amount of food, and then she feels guilt. You visibly see the guilt in her face. Maybe you're eating like pancakes as a baby or like as a kid, and then you see your mom's not eating pancakes, she's having a green smoothie. So there's something going on that's not linking. You're telling your body, okay, mummy or daddy or your parent figure is fearing something to do with weight gain, is really scared of gaining weight. Maybe you grow older and you hear comments of your mum talking about, oh, I don't want to get fat, oh, I don't want to get piggy, oh, that's a bad food, that's a junk food. You're starting to build up this fear of weight gain. And then as you grow older, we start to have reasons to fear food or fear weight gain. So let's say you join any community, you have friends who say like, oh no, I'm not gonna have that, that's junk food, that's bad, I don't want to gain weight. Oh, cookies in the office, oh no, I'm gonna be piggy, I'm trying to lose weight, I want other people to like me more, I gotta get ready for my summer body. Social media try to promote, oh yeah, people will love you if you lose weight, oh, we only love people who have six packs, oh, you'll be loved more, you won't be seen as a failure of a mother if you don't gain weight, you lose the baby weight, all those kinds of things. You start to join societies, you start to join groups which promote this certain ideal. This is the implicit bias. You join people who have the similar mindset as you. So this is why you can never change anyone's mind. This is why if you try to speak to people who believe in flat earth, you can never change their mind because they have a whole community which they believe, their community, they're the right ones. Well, people believe me and they reinforce this idea with me, so we must be correct. You can never change people's ideas. Also, the same thing with politics. If people are really like into one certain set of politics or this politician group, then it's gonna be extremely hard for you to sway them because of this implicit bias. Same thing with fear of weight gain. You fear weight gain, friends, family, people around you are scared of gaining weight. So it's not ultimately your fault, it's an environmental aspect. So ultimately it's not your fault, it's the implicit bias. It's implied that you've been exposed to environments which make you fear weight gain, which is so why so many people fear gaining weight in the first place. So now that we understand that fear is now environmental nowadays, let's talk about the science, because some people are like, okay, but how do I understand the fear of weight gain? How do I understand the science? Why am I feeling this way? So let's talk about fear. So fear is ultimately not a bad thing. We say like, oh, stop being scared. Oh, you shouldn't be fearing this. But fear is actually something that serves us. If we remove fear, then we'd be petting pet lions when we were prehistoric times, when we were cavemen, cavewomen. Be like, okay, what's down this cliff? I'm gonna jump down that cliff. Oh, what's that tiger? That has sharp teeth and just ate that other animal. I'm gonna pet that. I'm gonna say hello to it. All those kinds of things. Oh, I had a bad experience with snake that bit me and I survived. Okay, that should be alright. I'm gonna be around that snake more often. All snakes are good. So fear is basically just a survival mechanism. So there's nothing wrong with fear, but it's more of a learned response. We need to understand that fear is a mechanism that sometimes can serve us, sometimes it doesn't, but it's something that you learn. It's a learned response towards a certain stimuli. Say for example, that you're a kid and you've never seen a dog before. You've seen them in cartoons, you've seen them in TV, you've never seen a real life dog before. Then you walk towards a dog and then you try to pet it. You try to pet, let's say it's a pit bull. You try to pet the pit bull and it growls at you and it bites you. Okay, then this is a learned response. Okay, next time I pet the dog, I think it's gonna bite me. It's a survival mechanism. And then 3 steps to the whole fear response. So we see something or we remember something that we're scared of. That's when our amygdala activates, which can trigger the fight or flight response. And then our body processes it a little bit more. Okay, that's a dog. Okay, I was trying to understand what happened last time. You try to have a nostalgic memory. You try to look back. Okay, so that's what happened. And then number 3 is when you start to have that physiological response. You start to feel sweaty, you start to feel anxious. So what I'm trying to say here is that the fight or flight response, the amygdala, activates even before you have the whole process of trying to understand, trying to remember what happened in the past, and before you even have the physical symptoms. So there is a study that showed one time, just to show this around, that the scientists, they showed these participants range of very scary pictures, very scary, horrifying images, but they're flickering at like 0.1 second at a time, so quick that you can't even understand what's over there, can't even see it properly, what's scary about it. The scientists knew it was scary, but the participants didn't even know what they were even looking at. But they found, based on the study, that their amygdala was activating before they were even like feeling anything. They were just like staring at it, like, okay, I don't really know what's going on. Lots of flickering images, I can't even make sense of what's going on. But their amygdala activated. Their fight or flight mode was already activated before they even started to fear anything. So the fear response is activated before we start to even notice it. So now let's go full circle. So we need to know that fear is a learned response. It's basically a learned response to external stimuli that you had a bad experience with and it's trying to protect you. So what I'm trying to say here is that fear is a learned response towards stimuli which we had a bad experience with, and we don't want to have that bad experience again. So fear can be helpful in keeping us alive, but sometimes we can be scared of things which actually serve us. We can be scared of like certain things which are quite irrational to most people. You could be scared of gaining weight where another person might have no issue with that. So fear is a learned response, and sometimes we can be scared of the wrong things. We can be scared of things which are not really making sense. You could be scared of a donut. You could be scared of wearing bigger size trousers or more loose fitting clothes, all those kinds of things. And irrationally, it's not gonna mean life or death. It's just because you've been exposed to the wrong stimuli at the wrong time, or you've been exposed at it at a really young age and you were just molded into that based on your environment. So it's not your fault. It's not because you're weak, or what I'm trying to say basically is that it's not your fault. Environment molded you to fear foods, maybe had an irrational experience which taught your body to fear foods, even though it's quite irrational. Like, there's no need to fear, it's not life or death. So now that we understand the science of fear and why we fear and how fear can be helpful, but at the same time, fearing things can be also unhelpful. So now that we understand how we trigger fear, it's important before we move on to overcome fear. First, we need to know what fuels fear. So fear is fueled by avoidance. So let's talk about this little analogy. So let's say you go to the toilet and then you see a spider. Okay, you literally jump and then you close the door, run away, and then even though you really need to use the toilet, you really need to pee, you try to avoid using the toilet as much as possible because you think the spider's gonna be there. You wait maybe like 5 hours, even without checking that if the spider is still there. You don't want to go to the toilet. You rather wet yourself rather than going to the toilet because you're scared of it. So you're always thinking again and again without checking. You're not even opening the door because there could be like 2 spiders, there could be 3 spiders, you never know. Maybe the spider's gone, but you're not willing to take the risk because you had a terrible experience with it, just walking into the toilet and seeing another spider. You don't want to risk it to see like 2 spiders, or maybe if the spider has grown in size or something. So remember, fear is fueled by avoidance. You're making these thoughts without even confirming in your head, okay, there's something, I don't really know, I had a bad experience, I don't want a worse experience, I'm not gonna risk it. But the thing in the opposite point of view is fear, the opposite is also true. Safety is fueled by confirmation. So it's scary, but you have to open the door and confirm, okay, there's no spider in the toilet. Okay, I'm gonna start using the toilet. Even though you're scared, because remember, it's a learned response. And even though it doesn't serve you, you're still fearing using the toilet. Even though it's quite irrational, you're not really confirming it. So you need to keep on using the toilet again and again and again. And you have to confirm, okay, there's no spider, no spider, no spider. Same thing with the fear of weight gain. We gained weight once, and then we had the fear of weight gain. Oh, I think I gained weight. People are gonna really hate me. I'm gonna be bullied. People are going to notice. People are going to comment on me. I need to lose weight as much as possible. So each time you try to like hold back, go away from any time you try to lose weight. So each time that you gain weight and you try to hold back, you're giving your body a reason to fear foods. You're telling your body, okay, yeah, I told you so. Like, it's scary, so let's not go there again. Let's not gain weight. Let's try to diet as much as possible. So it's quite irrational, but you're trying to like hold back. The same thing if you try to like jump into the toilet and then you see a spider. Okay, I need to avoid it. Okay, let's go away. Let's not ever go to that toilet ever again, because you start to think, okay, what if it gets worse? What if people judge me? What if people judge me for gaining weight? What if people bully me? You start to have these irrational thoughts. Your body has to create more reasons for you to avoid this thing. So remember, safety or avoiding fear, removing fear, is fueled by confirmation. So let's say you're trying to eliminate this fear of weight gain. You have to gain weight. It sounds silly, but there's no other way. You have to gain weight and then hold off. You have to stay there. Try to avoid any restriction. Anytime that you gain weight and you want to gain weight, then your body's gonna give you more and more reasons to avoid gaining weight or bring you back to losing weight, trying to jump onto very restrictive diets. But each time that you give in to those urges once again will be extremely strong, even stronger next time, which is probably why you might be terrified of gaining weight. The people who struggle with the worst body image are the people who have gained weight and then gained, lost. They've been on this cycle again and again and again. But the more they go into the cycle, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, because you're giving your body more reasons. You're confirming to your body, I told you so. Gaining weight is bad. It's scaring you, which is why I need to bring you back. But remember, if you want to overcome these, you have to gain weight and maintain it. You have to eliminate any behaviors which are going to contribute to fear of weight gain. So try to avoid dieting. Try to wear bigger size clothes. Try to like throw away, or at least like package away your tight jeans, your tight clothes, your tight whatever, anything that you wear. You have to create all the conditions for your body to prepare or like experience the environment in this new situation. Try to make it as easy as possible. Each time that you're giving your body reasons to fear weight gain, it's going to be extremely hard. Your body's fighting against you, but remember that your body is trained. Your body's wired in a way to fear weight gain, even though it doesn't really serve you at the moment, because you know that gaining weight is the only way to overcome binge eating, or at least gaining weight temporarily is the only way to overcome binge eating. And the tricky thing is that if you persistently avoid weight gain or avoid certain things that you're scared of, then this very specific fear of one thing can be very generalized. So people who jump onto diets for the first time, there's actually really interesting studies that show that girls jump onto diets as young as 4 years old, 6 years old, 8 years old. So one little thing that you're like really worried about, like, oh, I'm scared of my little muffin tops, or my sides are a bit like flabby and all those kinds of things. Very specific fear. If you persistently avoid weight gain, or you're very scared of weight gain, you're training your body to fear weight gain, then specific fear of one thing can be generalized. So what might have started off as like, oh, my butt's a bit too big, or my sides are a bit too flabby, or my arms are a bit too big, all those kinds of things. Oh, I'm getting a double chin. Then if you persistently avoid it, then you're gonna generalize it to all across your body. Like, oh, if I'm fat here, I must be fat over here. I must be fat over here. I must be gaining weight all over. I'm gonna hate my body. I'm gonna hate my face. I'm gonna hate my emotions. I'm gonna hate my values. Like, I think people really hate me. Does my mom hate me? Does my dad hate me? Does my friends hate me? Like, your self-esteem goes through the floor. The same thing with food. So the same thing happens with very specific fear foods. If you had a bad experience with donuts, okay, I really hate donuts. I need to avoid donuts as much as possible. Actually, there's chocolate over there. I'm gonna avoid chocolate as much as possible. You're gonna clump all these into a certain category. Junk food, I'm gonna avoid all junk food. I'm gonna avoid all sugar because I'm addicted to sugar, and all those kinds of things. Specific fear will become very general the more you avoid it. So what should you do to overcome this fear of weight gain? So I already mentioned a few of these things already, but in a nutshell, try to eat the foods that you're scared of, or try to experience weight gain. And I'm not saying gain weight, I'm saying trying to experience weight gain and try to continue where you are. Eat regular meals. If you don't know, if you want to overcome binge eating and you're just here for the binge eating content, then check this video out over here where I talk about how to overcome binge eating, what you should eat. But in a nutshell, try to eat regular meals, put dieting on hold. If you gain weight, then you need to realize, okay, I'm gaining weight. It's not going to be forever because maybe my metabolic rate has massively decreased after all these dieting. I need to like restore my metabolic rate once again to what it was because of metabolic adaptation. Maybe this is currently my starved body. This is my body running on like 1,000 calories. Maybe I need to like refuel my body and hit it to a normal point where it's comfortable, where I'm not really tired, where I'm not really craving food, hungry, hangry, angry, all those kinds of things. So in a nutshell, you have to experience fear. That's a non-negotiable. You will experience fear, but you need to understand that fear doesn't always serve you. You're not going to instantly die if you gain weight. If worried about cholesterol, diabetes, you can still eat foods which are filling and satisfying. No one's saying you should eat like kale and avoid all cookies. As long as you're eating protein, fats, carbs, and fiber and it's balanced, then your risk of cholesterol is actually going to be heavily affected by what you eat compared to what you don't eat. So if you're worried about all those kinds of things, I'd link this video over here that you can be metabolically healthy if you're a higher body weight. But remember that you have to experience weight gain. That's a non-negotiable. You have to experience fear. Avoid any behaviors which will bring you back to avoiding weight gain, because it's going to be even harder the next time. You'll have to gain weight. You'll have to experience fear. That's a non-negotiable because your body's unfortunately trained to that. But you can eliminate this fear by confirmation. Safety, or the elimination of fear, is fueled by confirmation. You have to sit with this higher body weight and think to yourself, okay, the longer I sit here and I'm not gonna compensate, not going to try to drop my weight, then I'm actually gonna be a bit more comfortable. I need to avoid all these things. I need to be very aware of the times I'm trying to engage in behaviors which are going to tell my brain, okay, you should fear this. So the fight response, if someone offers you cake, don't be like, oh, I hate you, you know cake is gonna kill me and all those kinds of things. Flight response, if someone offers you cake, oh well, I gotta go now, I left my refrigerator running or something like that. The freeze response, someone offers you cake, I'm not really sure if I should be having cake and all those kinds of things. And then the fawn response is, okay, I'll have some cake. And then you just hide it in your pockets. You shove the cake in your pockets. Try to avoid all those behaviors which would encourage that fear response, which would encourage the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response. And that's essentially it for this video. So there's not much to say to it. So that's the hard truth. Affirmations such as, oh, I'm going to love myself, I'm going to read this in my mirror that you're beautiful, you're loved, you're amazing. Affirmations will essentially do nothing unless you're exposing yourself, unless you're giving your body a reason to expose yourself to the fear. Unless you expose yourself to the fear, no self-affirmation, no acceptance will truly be strong enough and effective as truly accepting your physical change in your body. The longer you do this and you confirm to yourself, okay, I'm not dying if I gain weight, and nothing's gonna happen. I'm not gonna die if I gain weight. I'm not gonna literally have my life change upside down. The longer you stay in that higher body weight, every single day that goes by, staying in that higher body weight, you're confirming to your body, okay, this is actually quite alright. I had to learn that the hard way when I was struggling with binge eating because I was trying to be at a low body weight, have a 4-pack because that's all I could manage to restrict as far as I can. And then I had to accept that I had to gain weight because my life was terrible. I was trying to go to the gym, but I had literally no energy. I was hyper focused on my body. Every single muscle, tricep, bicep, every single vein in my body. I was like, oh, if I gain weight, I'm gonna lose this bicep vein, oh, and all those kinds of things. I was hyper focused. But if you try to give your body many reasons to not fear weight gain, you won't fixate on those kinds of things. Quite a very rambly long video, but if you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments if this was quite helpful. Remember, if you're really struggling with the fear of weight gain, you can do this. It's exposure therapy, essentially. If you enjoyed this video, check this video out, and I'll see you in there. But let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video and what you've learned out of it, and if there's anything that's quite struck you. And I'll see you in that video. See ya!